The changes currently affected do not change the position with regard to how the gains on direct investment in bonds is actually taxed. There is no change in that. So if somebody had invested in a government security or in a bond issued by a company or a PSU, and it is held for more than 3 years, and there is an increase in the value at the time of redemption or on a sale, this would be treated as a long-term asset, and I have not noticed any change with regard to that. The only thing that I have noticed, and if I have missed something, you can feel free to correct me. Only these two products, that is the mutual funds which invest less than 35% in a scheme in equity. If it invests more than 35%, then there is a different classification for that. But as long as it invests less than 35% of its average investable money in equity, and with regard to MLD, post 1st of April, any gain arising with regard to these two products will be treated only as a short-term capital gain, and it will not be entitled to the benefit of long-term capital gain. This is the only change that I have noticed. But in case I have missed out something, you can bring in that angle as well.
Yes, sir. Just a couple of questions here. One is, if investors are holding MLDs and they are maturing next year, they had bought these MLDs prior to the budget, which is in February 23, and have invested and are holding the MLDs, would they still be eligible for long-term capital gains tax if they hold it over a year plus and sell it before redemption? That is one. The second is that on the mutual funds itself, now investors have the benefit of what is called grandfathering. So would that mean that investors who have invested in debt mutual funds for a period of 3 years, just invested recently, would they be eligible for the long-term capital gains tax? This is just to clarify so that investors can take their decisions accordingly.
This is a very important question you have raised. And I think the government should be appreciated and thanked for having clarified this position, one with regard to the MLDs, which was initially introduced in the budget without sufficient clarity as to what would happen to MLDs which were already issued and invested by investors before the introduction of the budget on 1st of February. In fact, I also remember, this question was raised in the media, and you had also brought up in your podcast with regard to the status of taxation of the existing investments. The government has now clarified that the treatment with regard to the changed position in tax, whereby it is taxed as a short-term capital gain, would arise only in respect of investments made after 1st of April 2023. Or maybe after 31st of March 2023. That means anything from 1st of April would be subject to the new law. So all investments already made, even if they get redeemed 2 years, 3 years down the road, the old law will apply. So this position has been brought about to not unfavorably disturb past decisions taken, which cannot be reversed by virtue of the proposed change in law. So the government has understood this implication for investors, and they have been quite gracious about making sure that the old investments do not suffer by virtue of the change in law. The same position applies with regard to the debt mutual funds, where the investment in equity is less than 35%, whereby if somebody has made the investment, and in a way I should make the point that investors have still left with, I think, 3 working days or so before they can make further investments into these schemes, which would be entitled to the benefit of long-term capital gains taxation if they hold it for a period of 3 years. So to that extent, again, the people have not been, while they have been taken by surprise by the change, but I think they have been given enough time to plan and change their portfolio if required in the 3-4 days intervening between the change announced and the 31st of March. So in both these regards, there is no disturbance to the past investments, and the change applies only for fresh investments made after 1st of April 2023.